Today, we're going to be talking about freight lanes, but I got to get the intro out the way. So, let's go. This is the most scariest part of my life, trying to pass a damn Swift truck. See my beautiful wife.
You can't see because I'm bundled up.
Yeah, she's definitely bundled up. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Trucking Truth. I am your boy, Aaron Hamilton. I am not just a trucker on YouTube. Yes, I am a YouTube trucker. Shout out to Guilty718 for coining the phrase that I am not a YouTube trucker. I am a trucker on YouTube. And the reason why I decided to basically take that phrase from him and switch it around a little bit and say I am a YouTube trucker is because when Guilty put that phrase out there, I noticed a lot of us YouTube truckers denying the fact that they're YouTube truckers. Now, Guilty, it's not a YouTube trucker, okay? There's a few truck drivers on YouTube that are not YouTube truckers, but I own that title, okay? I like being called what I am, okay? But anyway, in this video, we're going to be talking about freight lanes. So that's why I call myself a YouTube trucker, because I'm just going to give you guys raw and uncut, real information about trucking that you're not going to get anywhere else. So that's why I encourage you guys to subscribe to continue to get raw and uncut information that you're not going to get anywhere else. So today we're going to be talking about freight lanes, okay?
Freight lanes, freight lanes, freight lanes, freight lanes.
Now, if you happen to watch other YouTubers, YouTube truckers that try to give you information, and most of us owner-operators, one of the biggest things that we tell you guys to do is to learn your freight lanes. But even I believe I failed at this point, and that's what I'm going to correct in this video. But a lot of us YouTubers will tell you to go figure out your freight lanes. Know your lanes. Know your lanes. Know your lanes. But there's not one that I could think of, YouTube trucker who is an owner-operator, who's been out here doing it for a long while, to really get into how to understand freight lanes. One thing you need to understand about freight lanes, it always change. So guess what that means?
Research.
Researching on your freight lanes has to be something that you do on a regular. And the best part about it is in this video today, I'm going to teach you guys how to really research. I'm going to give you guys the tools. I'm actually even going to tell you guys what to download just to mess around with. Okay? But there is a little warning. I gotta want to tell you guys this. Some of the things that I am telling you guys to download, do not, unless you have, okay, do not put in your company's DOT number without your company's permission, okay? Now, the two things I'm definitely going to tell you guys to download just to be able to look at the lanes, you do not need a DOT number. Okay, but the thing that you really need the most to be able to help you do your research is also going to cost you $35. So also keep that in mind. $35 a month. And it could be a little bit more than that, so don't quote me on it, because I got it a long time ago and I've been paying the same price every month, and that's my price for life. Another thing you need to understand about freight lanes is that it also depends on the type of commodity and the weight that you are hauling. And that is not just it. It also depends on what type of trailer you're pulling on the back of you.
And another thing is, if y'all been watching my last few videos, I've been talking about your value and how much you're worth also has a lot to do with it. So I just wanted to remind you of that.
Knowing your lanes basically just gives you an idea on how much you can expect at the lowest to get paid per mile to the truck when you pick up a load from point A to point B, okay? And how much you should profit, use for fuel, and stuff like that. It gives you an idea at the lowest the going value of that particular lane.
Why is that important?
The reason why that is important is because a lot of brokers out here, whether the new companies, old companies, whatever, their main objective is to try to move the load, that particular load in that particular lane, at the lowest amount possible. So the best way to combat that is
Research.
with all that out the way. I think you guys are ready to receive the information about the tools you're going to need to be able to help you study freight lanes. But I got one more thing to sit here and say. There's also other YouTubers encouraging people who's coming into trucking that probably wants to be owner operators to go company for a couple of years so they can know freight lanes. But I got a question. As a company driver, okay, whether they got a dry van, or they got a reefer, or they got a tanker, or they even got a flatbed or a step deck or anything, how are they supposed to really understand the lanes and the value of the lanes if they're usually getting paid per mile? Or even some of the lease purchase operators, the owner operators that are paid per mile.
They can't. You want me to tell you why? Well, here's why.
Anytime you are paid per mile, whether you're a company driver or you're paid per mile as an owner operator, okay, most of the time you're not going to get a rate confirmation. You're not going to be able to get a chance to talk to a broker, call and ask about a load and stuff like that. You're not really going to be able to get that knowledge necessary to understand a particular lane. So basically what that means is that is why I'm making this video. So let's get to the tools. There's 3 things that you need to have to be able to understand freight lanes, and I'm going to explain them all. But here's the 2 things that I need you to download on your smartphone or tablet, or even go online and search it out. The first one is an app that you download on your smartphone. Doesn't matter if it's an Android, and it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone. It's compatible to both. And it's called Truckloads. If you heard of Truck Path or Trucker's Path, okay, this is called Truckloads, and it's made by the same app creator who created Trucker's Path. The second tool you need, an app that you should download on your smartphone, and also not just your smartphone, but even on your computer, you can go online to search it out. But it's 123 load boards. Okay, 123 load boards. Now, 123 load boards, they'll give you a little bit of a demo where you can search up like 5 different loads. But a lot of the things that I'm going to be getting into, you're going to have to pay at least $35 a month, and it could be more. The other third thing you're going to need to have is internet, whether it's on your smartphone, tablet, and or computer, because we're going to have to use Google, and I got 2 keywords that I need you to type in. And what's also cool is I'm going to basically give you a tutorial on the tools that I use to be able to study my freight lanes, to understand each and every lane. So that way, when I go to a broker about a particular load, they're not going to hustle me. We're going to be starting with 123 load board. So let's go. Alright, after you downloaded the apps, the very first app we're going to get into is the 123 load board. Okay, then you're going to hit the little 3 lines on the left hand side, and we're going to scroll down until we find the app part called Rate Check. And you're going to sit here and see, we're going to look at the origin. We're going to type in Baltimore, Maryland, and then we're going to choose a destination called Fort Worth, Texas. Now, the reason why I like using Freight Check is basically because once you figure out the trailer type that you have, which is flatbed, van, and reefer, you click on the type of trailer type that you have, and then you click on it, and then it basically brings you up to what that lane is worth per mile. By figuring out what it's worth per mile, it's right there in the orange. So pay attention to the orange. The rest of the information basically describes, your estimated line haul, estimated cost per fuel, tool cost, and then your estimated revenue. Or profit is basically what you're gonna pick in your pocket. So this is right here is a great tool that you can sit here and use to figure out what particular lanes is going to be, what the particular lane is worth. And these are also updated every 30 days. So you can definitely update it every 30 days, but it gives you a general idea. And again, 123 load board is $35 a month. And if you guys haven't downloaded it or haven't gotten it, I suggest that you do. The next load board we're going to look at is we're going to go to Google. We're going to type in DAT trend lines. Okay, and inside of DAT trend lines, what you're going to come up with is it's basically a big old menu bar for the type of trailer that you hold, but it gives you spot market freight, and then basically it tells you what the outbound freight in particular regions is going through. It also gives you load to truck ratios, and to me that is one of the most important things you need to understand about DAT trend lines. Everything on DAT trend lines is updated every Wednesday, but you can sit here and you can look in to whatever trailer type you have, and you can sit here and forecast and understand like where you need to be pertaining to the trailer type, so that way you're getting more of the how to load. Now, like I said about load to truck ratio, the more loads that you have to one truck is basically means that market is in your favor. So when you go to book a load, if there's a broker, if the load to truck ratio, if there's more loads than one truck, you have more of a bargaining chip where you can get more out of a load. But there's a lot more into it, and that's why I'm pretty much going to probably make it part 2. The other reason why I like DAT trend lines is because for the simple fact it also gives you the national average of the cost of fuel. In this video you see the national average is $3. So it's also a good tool whenever you need to update your fuel cost, or whenever you're doing your variable cost, because that's another thing that you need to do on a regular, is always run your numbers. I try to suggest people to do it at least once a week. So basically here is where you see like load to truck ratios. The darker colored ones is basically where you have the most loads with the less trucks. So if you are a carrier being strategic, you would try to get trucks to go into them darker areas. So that way you'll be able to understand. Now in this next slide, what you're going to see is basically load to or what you call spot market regional freight. And again, with spot market freight, it shows you what the outbound going rate is. It doesn't mean that every load is going to pay that, but what it does mean, it allows you to basically see the values of the particular lanes or particular regions for outbound freight, what they're technically paying on an average. So that ain't nothing bad. But the other cool thing is it also gives you summaries and a little bit of a forecast on what has been going on in the market the week prior to you looking. And it also gives you a little bit of graphs just to be able to help you understand, what the trucking industry is doing. And the cool thing about it is it does it to a particular trailer type, and it also does it to the whole country, the whole industry altogether. But other than that, just select your trailer type, and again, it's drive-in as well as flatbed and reefer, because those are the most common trailer types. And the best thing about it is even on its homepage, it gives you the statistics of what it's been doing that week right before. And I suggest everybody to basically look at DAT trend lines every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday, because that's what I do. Every Wednesday they update everything, so that's when I get everything brand new. But every Friday and every Monday is just basically reminding myself on how the market is doing. Now the next app that we're going to look at is Truckloads. And again, this is a free load board for anybody. You also don't need a DOT number for this one or an MC number, but it allows you to basically get in here and look at what some loads are going for. Because believe it or not, on load boards, you'll get some load boards where you might have the customer or the broker basically posting the rate on what the load is going for in the load itself. And this is also great just to be able to sit here and look at, what is going on around you. Now I'm gonna type in the load that I'm looking at around about where I'm from, and you see I got trailer type reefer. For a dry van, there is some reefer freight that you can sit here and pull, but the one thing that you also gotta do is to sit here and look, and just look. Right here is a load going from Pittsburgh, PA to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. You know this is 5 miles away from where I'm currently at, and it's only going 190 miles. Okay, and according to this load, it's paying $10.50. So that's not bad on 190 miles. And to be honest, if I wasn't sitting here, talking to you guys, I would probably try to book this load, because this is a pretty good paying load. Alright, so the best way I'm going to sit here and show you how to break down how to look, or how to tell, what that particular lane is paying. All you got to do is sit here and go through it, and then you just type in 1050, and you're going to divide that by either by all the miles that you got to drive or by the loaded miles. And in this case, I use loaded miles, so 190. And then if you notice, that's a total of $5.52 a mile. So $5.52 a mile after it's said and done. I don't know why I typed 553, but it's 552. So hopefully with that small little bit of tutorial with me explaining it basically on when to look at it and how often to look at it and what to do, so that way you're getting information right on point all the time, okay, it basically is going to help you out. Now, just because a rate is set at that amount when you're doing a rate check or you're looking at spot market rates, doesn't necessarily mean that the load that they're going to offer you is going to pay that much, okay, but at least you know where to keep your average at. And again, it also depends on how you worth yourself. And the tip of the day, I got 2 tips. I got one tip when it comes to dealing with new brokers, and I got another tip as far as winter and rain and driving, because it's something I think y'all want to know. Alright, so tip number 1 is basically whenever you're dealing with the broker for the first time, is be confident, knowing what you can offer, but for the simple fact this is technically a new customer, he has not, or that particular broker or broker firm has not been able to value you out as much as maybe what some brokers you may have used in the past and used repeatedly. Okay, so maybe negotiate is definitely, but don't expect if your average is a 250 a mile on all miles, but the particular lane and the load that you're looking for is going for $1.80, you're most likely going to get it at $2 or $1.90 for all loaded miles. Okay, so but when you're dealing with that broker for the first time, make sure you try to establish a relationship with them by communicating. Let them know when you arrive. Let them know when you pick up. Make sure that they're well aware of what's going on around you, and be professional at all times. Run a few loads for that same broker, and then you have that broker or that broker firm in your back pocket.
Tip number 2.
Alright, now everybody so far this season has drove through a little bit of snow. And one of the biggest problems when you're driving into the snow and ice is that it usually accumulates on your windshield wipers, making it hard for you to be able to brush the snow and the ice off of your windshield because your windshield wipers got a lot of ice and snow on it and just build up. So a lot of times you have to get out of your truck and you have to like literally bang your windshield wiper against your windshield to knock all that ice and stuff off, and then you drive 5 more miles and have to do it again. Now, also it's also good for whenever you're driving in the wind and it's raining at the same time. I recommend you guys to go Pilot, Flying Jet, and some loves I do know carries it, and get you a thing called wiper huggies. They're usually right beside the wiper blades, but the reason why I'm suggesting these is because it helps out a lot. The reason why wipers accumulate snow and ice during the wintertime whenever you're driving in snow conditions and stuff like that, is because your windshield wipers, the wipers actually vibrate against the glass. So the windshield wiper huggies stops that, and it makes the trip a lot more better, a lot more safer, and you'll be able to see a lot more. Again, that doesn't mean to try to, you know, punch Mother Nature in the face and try to be a super trucker. If it's really unsafe, make sure you pull over. But that is just something I think y'all should invest in. It's only $5, and it has done me wonders. But anyway, I don't care if you guys heard it over there. I don't care if y'all heard it over there. Because over here, I'm only going to give y'all the mother trucking truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Now I got to get back to work. So I'm going to catch you guys on the other side. Peace.